So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto remembers being Ashura. Part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if, and you want to see part 2, comment down below. And let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content. And leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also share this video with your friends. So let's start the video. Chapter 1, The Journey of Souls 01. Konoha, in an apartment. There was a young blonde boy, who was wondering why his life was the way it was. How he was ignored and shunned by the villagers. When they thought he couldn't hear, they would say harsh and demeaning words. He thought the question a million times, what did I do that would be so horrible that they would treat him like this? His life was very lonely so far, and deep down he hoped one day that everything would change for the better. We find the blonde boy sleeping alone in his dirty room, his bed made from rags. However, he wasn't sleeping peacefully. He started having vivid dreams of battles and a life not his own. Who would ever think that one boy's dream would start a journey that would shake the world? The young blonde boy named Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki was a young blonde boy with fair skin and blue eyes. His outfit, consisting of a black shirt with red spiral design and brown shirts with blue sandals, was long since worn out. He had 3 marks resembling whisker marks on each cheek. He was rather short for his age, being 3 inches shorter than he should be, and didn't eat healthy, his diet consisting mainly of ramen. Naruto's room. Inside his dream. This is strange, thought Naruto, as he was talking with an old man with gray skin and 3 eyes. Despite this, he felt safe with the old man. Now to others that might seem normal, except that he had never seen this man before. When Naruto looked into the decorative mirror that was placed on the wall, he was shocked. The person staring back was not himself, at least not his current self. The person in the mirror was a brown-haired tall man wearing a white yukata. Now this couldn't be possible since Naruto wasn't older than 6 years old. Yet somehow the man in the mirror and the old man were talking about something that seemed important, but his younger naive mind did not understand. He was able to pick up on only a few words said. It boiled down to the topic about succession. Then in a flash everything changed. Now he was facing someone that had the same hair color as the person in the mirror from before. However, now things were more intense, and there was more hate in his eyes than he could imagine. He was inside some giant made of purple flames with swords. His own body, taking the form of the man he saw in the mirror, was standing on the head of a giant wood statue that somehow could move, and from what he could see they were preparing to fight. That thought was confirmed when they charged at each other. Ni-san! Ashura! Ah! Naruto screamed, just having woken up from what looked like a nightmare. He took deep breaths to calm himself as he checked himself over to see if this was really his own body and not the adult from his dreams. It all felt so real. Oh, not again, thought the young boy. These dreams had been happening more often for the last 2 weeks, ever since that day. Flashback. We see Naruto, who was walking to the forest with his head down. Once again he had asked some kids if he could play with them. Once again, they had rejected him with the same excuse that they always use and ignore him. 2 years ago, when he first enrolled at the academy, he was hoping that he could make some friends so he wouldn't feel so lonely. Sadly, that didn't happen, and the same treatment that he got by the rest of the village also followed him into the classroom. He was also ignored by the others. Even after class was over, the few classmates that talked to him had to leave with their parents when they came to pick them up. He was just walking further inside the forest when the view of an old temple attracted his attention. When he got closer, he could see the temple was rather dilapidated. He also noticed it had the same symbol that was on the shirt that the old Hokage had given him some time ago. Feeling great curiosity, Naruto went inside the temple, and like any kid his age, he believed that he had found a secret playground just for him. Going further inside the temple, he found a room that had many different masks on the walls. Like any kid his age, he just picked up one of the masks and used it while he began to run inside the rooms, pretending that he was a masked ninja. Until he tripped over a piece of wood and fell face first, breaking the mask, ending his little game. Holding his tears from the blow, Naruto decided that it was time to return home. That night Naruto had the first of the dreams where he saw people that seemed familiar, but that he had never seen before. What all the dreams had in common is that each time he saw all the events from the point of view of some else. Yet when he saw a reflection, he saw a face that was not his, and each night it was some else. Sometimes it was the guy with the brown hair, while others was a black-haired man with red armor, and each time he saw different parts of their life. Their moments of sadness and happiness, their problems and their battles, but more important, their beliefs, fighting styles, and As much as these dreams distressed the poor young boy, he knew there was nothing he could do. He decided to try to sleep again, hoping that those strange dreams will stop. End flashback. It has been a couple weeks since those dreams began. Beside the dreams being entertaining, Naruto didn't know what to think about them. It was that very morning that his life began to change, as he got ready to go to the practice ground. Today was a weekend day, and he didn't need to go to the academy. Though he still will use all his free time practicing, because he wanted to prove to all the kids in the academy that he isn't a dead last as they made fun of him. More importantly than that, he had to prove it to himself, and because he never got any real help from the teachers. He also didn't have anyone that he could ask for help. He had to work so much harder just to be close to the level of the other kids, who had either the support of their families or are really taught by the teachers. So today, he will be practicing the chakra control exercise that he saw in the academy. But when he arrived at the training ground, he saw two people. A genin and a younger boy that looked just like him, who was probably his brother, were already there. And the training that they were doing looked more interesting than the stupid leaf exercise. He saw how the genin began to climb on one tree, but he didn't use his hands. More importantly, he was walking just like it was the park walkway. He overheard as the genin then began to talk to his younger brother about how he should control his chakra and all that boring stuff that was explained in the academy. After hearing the explanation, Naruto left the place and went somewhere else to try to do just what that genin just did. So, after he found a secluded place, he looked at the tree in front of him. "Come on, I can do this. I will be the greatest ninja in history, so this should be a piece of cake." He said this as he ran towards the tree, and when his foot made contact in the first step and began to rise, he believed that he had done it. However, that idea died a second later, when he reached the second step and fell to the ground. "HH, it hurts," exclaimed Naruto as he stands up, after he recovered from the hit. He got some distance by running away from the tree, then once again tried to climb the tree and again he failed. After a couple hours of this, he decided that for today he was done, that he will try again tomorrow. That very night he also has a dream about lessons that he received when he was the kid with brown hair or the black-haired one, and sometimes lessons that he provides to others. But that night he dreamed about that rare old man with gray skin and that strange third eye. "Indra, Ashura, from this moment I will teach you how to awaken your chakra so you can begin your own path in the art of Nishu." "What is Nishu, Ota-san?" asked the boy from the point of view of Naruto. "It is my personal philosophy that this power must be used to help others, bring unity and to protect the weak, and never to seek conflict. That is my Nishu." "Okay, Dad, we will show you that we will be the best Nishu users in the world." And soon the lessons began. And Naruto kept dreaming about those lessons. But this time he wasn't the only one that was looking at those dreams. "It can't be possible," Kurama said from within his cage. The last few days he had been feeling something that he couldn't understand but for some reason felt familiar. So, he had begun to use what little chakra he could use while still being a prisoner, trying to get whatever information he could. It was in that moment he managed to get in contact with that feeling that he saw the face that he believed he would never see again. "Father!" Kurama exclaimed as he was trying to find an explanation for what he was seeing. "There is no mistake, that is my father, but how does this brat know about him? How if his image was lost centuries ago, so no stupid humans should know how he looks?" But there was no mistake, he was looking at his father, and he knew because he remembers those memories. However, from his father's point of view, because he allowed him and his siblings to see and feel what he felt from the outside world. Wait a minute, point of view. That is, everything that he is seeing comes from the point of view of that Ashura boy. After that it was easy for Kurama to understand what was happening. So, this boy is the reincarnation of Ashura. Well, that is interesting, and it could be worse than him. He could be the reincarnation of that insolent brat Indra. I guess that this makes us family somehow. For the moment it would be for the best that I wait and see what will happen. A few days later. "Okay, now let's get started," exclaimed the blonde hero as he saw a big tree in front of him. He now knew the instructions to accomplish this exercise that he had seen other kids practice. With great determination, be put one foot on the tree and slowly begin to walk up the tree. For some reason this feels natural, thought Naruto as he was halfway to the top. That's when a new set of images of a gray-skinned man with a third eye in the front teaching two boys broke his concentration and made him fall. However, with the new set of images came the instinct to kick the tree to make distance from the tree and turn his body 180 degrees and land on his feet. "What is happening to me?" Naruto said as he put his hands over his eyes. While he was happy that he was getting stronger, he was also afraid because he didn't know what was happening to him. However, he knew one thing: this was his only chance to become strong. To get out of his situation, he had to keep training, and so he stood up and kept training. Time skip Academy classroom. Hinata POV. For the next few weeks, the friendship between Naruto and Hinata increased in closeness. Thanks to the assistance of teachers, no one wanted to get close to them. That was something that didn't bother them, as they were used to being marginalized even by the people around them. It happened in the second month of the current school year after the beginning of the class, and Naruto and Hinata had begun to spend all their free time together. Ever since Naruto saved her from those bullies all those years ago, she had always felt bad about how her guardian took her away before she could thank him for his help, or even check to see if he was fine after the beating that he got from those bullies. That is why when she saw him in the academy entry ceremony and learned that they will be in the same class, she was very happy. She believes that she will have the chance to thank him this time, but her shyness made that impossible for her. Things became more complicated when she saw how her classmates and teachers treated him. That brought bad memories of how her family treats her. However, unlike her, Naruto never allowed himself to give up and pity himself. He always stands back up when people tell him he should stay down. No matter how many times he fails, he always gets back up and keeps trying. Ever since she started following him, hoping to find the source of his strength. This was because she was rather shy, much too shy to ask him directly, so this was what she had to do for now. What she saw impressed her, as she saw Naruto keep training even after class. Always trying to succeed where he had failed. That is how following Naruto became a habit in the last year. She noticed that as his skills began to grow, so did her admiration for Naruto. Today was no different. He had been practicing the tree climbing chakra exercise again like the last few days. This is something that she knew because it was part of the Hyuga clan training. In her clan, they were taught chakra control exercises and other techniques from the moment they could walk. So she knew how hard it could be, even more so if you didn't have any help. However, seeing how Naruto managed to improve by his own effort was something amazing to her. Oh, how I wish that I could be like you, Naruto-kun. It was at that moment when she saw him lose his footing and began to fall, but instead of falling to the ground clumsily, he turned his body 180 degrees midair and landed on his feet. Amazing was all that she could say. When Naruto left, she decided to leave as well. When she arrived home that night, her father called her useless. He told her guardian, whose name is Kurenai, that she could do what she wanted with Hinata, that she was too weak to be a clan heiress. That night she cried alone. She wanted to go to her mother, but since her mother was extremely sick, she didn't want to cause her any more trouble. The next day, she didn't go to the academy and instead she went to Naruto's hidden training spot. The place that Naruto goes and sits under the same tree that he had used to practice the last day. The words of her father, and every bad experience that she has are repeated over and over in her head. She didn't know how long she had been there or how long had been since the rain began. She just wanted to disappear. She felt like her life was a pitch-black hell, and just as she felt the darkness consuming her, at that moment a ray of light and hope arrived. "Hey, you are that girl that sits behind me, Hinata, right?" A familiar voice asked, one that she knew too well. When her face rose, she saw Naruto right in front of her. He was drenched from the rain. However, she could see that he was looking her over in concern. "Are you okay? You didn't come to the academy today?" Naruto asked in his voice carrying his emotions. I didn't know what to do. I am sorry for taking your training place," Hinata said. "Forget about that. Why were you crying?" Naruto asked, more concerned with why she was crying than her taking up his training ground. "I want to disappear. Maybe if I did that then my family would be happier," Hinata confessed to Naruto. Naruto looked at her with a serious expression. Then he sat next to her, even though it was raining. For a moment he didn't say anything, he just sat next to her. "Can you tell me what happened?" Naruto finally asks. His question surprises Hinata, because no one besides her mother had ever shown any interest in her. Now the boy she admires since he rescued her that day from those 3 bullies, was concerned for her and even wanted to know about her troubles. So she began to tell her about the problems that had arisen, from her mother being sick to how the clan treated her. She even told him about how earlier, her father told her that she was useless. She told him everything that had been building up. After he had just heard her story, he said something that surprised her. "Then why don't you just show them that they are wrong about you? I know how it feels when the people around you are mean to you and just want you to disappear. You can hope that things will change, but it won't unless you make them change." That is why I train, to change my worth. If the people around you don't like that, then don't pay them any attention. Become the person that you want to be, at least that is the way I see things and am striving for myself," Naruto said, looking at her with determination filling his eyes. For Hinata, hearing Naruto's words was inspiring and beautiful. The fact that it was Naruto who said it made them all the more special. "I think we should find a drier place to continue our conversation. It seems like the storm is getting stronger," Naruto suggested as he stood up and offered his hand to help her stand up. Hinata accepted, but she slipped, making Naruto fall with her, and in the process their lips met, giving each other their first kiss by accident. They remained like that for a few seconds in shock before reacting. "I am sorry. I didn't mean to do that," Naruto said, worrying she would hate him now. Honestly, the way he was treated, it wasn't far-fetched. "It is okay. It was my fault in the first place," Hinata said, trying her hardest not to faint as she placed her fingers to her lips. Naruto decided to take her to the old mass temple, where they waited for the rain to stop. While they waited, they kept talking about everything. For Naruto, this is the first time he has spoken to anyone about the dreams that he had at night and the situation with his life. For Hinata, it was the first time she told anyone else about her lift in the Hyuga clan, along with her parents. Having a person to tell your problems and understand what you felt began to make big differences in their lives, and soon they started to train together. That day the two became friends and agreed to train together every day that they had free time. Something the other students and the teachers saw. They even tried telling Hinata that she must stay away from that boy, something that she refuses to do. After that they started ignoring her. When Naruto asked her if she was fine with that, she only said, "They never cared for me or were my friends before. So why should I abandon my only true friend to please some strangers?" It was during this time, training together, that Naruto's dreams proved to help tremendously when he saw an adult version of the men with white yukata and red armor teaching people. "Breathe, Hinata-chan, just breathe. Allow your breathing to be the same as the trees that are around us. Feel the beating of your heart, and how it synchronizes with the nature around us. Can you feel it?" Naruto instructed as he repeated the same words that he heard those men said in his dreams. "Yes, I can feel it," said Hinata. She had been happy when she trained with Naruto. It was the first time she's been truly happy since her mother had gotten sick. She didn't know how to explain it. For some reason, everything that Naruto taught her felt right and was easier to understand than all the lessons her father had given her, before he had dismissed her training. It was like she felt complete after she met him, and the feeling that she was having in that moment was so warm that for a few moments, she fell asleep. She had a dream about a very strong woman that wears a beautiful white kimono and has beautiful long red hair. She saw that she never gives up, how she was kind with her loved ones and terrible with her enemies. But more than anything, how she fought side by side with her husband, a man in red armor that for some reason reminded her of Naruto. They were fighting against a giant fox with many tails. "Hinata-chan wakes up," Naruto said, as he gently shakes her shoulder to wake her up. "Sorry, I fell asleep," Naruto-kun, Hinata replied, ashamed that she fell asleep in the presence of her friend. When he was trying to help her, something her father stopped trying a long time ago. "Don't worry about it. It happened to me a lot with Irika-sensei's boring classes. I guess I am no better than him. Besides, it is getting late, and you should return to your home soon," Naruto said, glad she was awake. So the two of them began to walk until the border of the training ground, and even though they were friends, Naruto knew the adults didn't like him. If they saw them together, they would be rude to Hinata as well. For that reason, Naruto would always stop before the entrance so he can leave in the other direction so the villagers wouldn't see them together. Even though Hinata said that she didn't mind, he didn't want to cause problems for his only friend. "Well, I guess that is everything for today, but we can train here again tomorrow after class if you want to," ask Naruto to his friend. "I would like," Hinata to reply as she began to walk toward her home. "Wait, before you go, I just happened to find this flower and I want to give it to you, that is if you like," said Naruto as he shows her a beautiful dark blue orchid. Naruto had heard from some of the girls in the academy that girls like it when boys give them flowers as a present. So he wanted to give her something that she would like, even if he didn't understand what made the flowers special. He knew that Hinata was having a bad time at home with her mother being very sick, so he wanted to do something for her. Hinata, for her part, was very surprised, because she had never suspected that her best friend would give her this beautiful flower. So she accepted the flower and treasured the beautiful orchid. "Thank you, Naruto-kun, it is beautiful," Hinata said as she thanked her friend, one more time as she began to walk towards her home. While Naruto, who now has a big smile on his face, was happy that Hinata liked the orchid. He considered that he should spend more time studying plants and flowers so he could find the meaning to the flowers and make his friend happy. "Look what we have here!" a voice exclaimed behind them, when they turned to see who it was. They recognized the three as the bullies Naruto had saved Hinata from when they had met. However, unlike last time when they were all just kids, this time those three were wearing Konoha's headband. They were genin. "I see that the freaks like to be together," said another of the bullies. "What do you want?" Naruto asked the three. "Nothing, we were just taking a walk and saw you two and said, why don't we go and teach those losers a lesson, just like before," the leader said as he smugly smirked. "Why, we didn't do anything to you," Naruto demanded. "And who cares about that? It's just because you exist, that is enough reason," the leader answered, as the three of them surrounded Naruto and Hinata. Seeing that the situation wasn't a good one, Naruto looked at Hinata. He turned to her and said, "Hinata-chan, I will try to hold them down, use that chance to escape." "But what about you?" Hinata asks, concerned over her only friend. "I will be fine, you just escape when I give you the signal," Naruto answers. He didn't want her to get hurt, he didn't care if they hurt him as long as she was okay. "No," said Hinata as she looks at Naruto with a serious look. "I was forced to leave you behind when you saved me last time, because my guardian refuses to help you. I always regretted that and I refuse to abandon you again." Hinata finishes, a fierce look on her face. Naruto was surprised by Hinata's words. No one has ever said anything like that to him before. It was in that moment he recognized what she was talking about. "So, you were that girl," he said, surprised that he had indeed met her again. "If you losers are done talking, it is time for the fun," said the leader as he ran towards Naruto and hit him in the face. Naruto fell on the ground hard as he tried to stand up. But the difference between him and a genin was too big. "Naruto-kun!" exclaimed Hinata as she runs towards Naruto to help him. It is at that moment that one of the bullies hit her from behind and made her feel as well. "Hinata!" Naruto hurries to stand up to help her only to be hit again and fall next to Hinata. "For a moment I believed that you would give us more fun than this, but in the end, you are only a couple of losers," said the leader as he kicked Naruto in the stomach, knocking the wind out of him. "Leave him alone," said Hinata as she tries to help Naruto only to receive a kick in the face and fell once again with tears coming from her eyes. "Stay down, you white-eyed freak." But then something happened when Naruto saw Hinata getting hurt. A feeling of a fire that was born deep inside his soul. It was at that moment that some of those images appeared once again in his mind. Naruto's mind. Again, it was the man with red armor, and he was looking at how three genins were fighting 2 versus 1. It wasn't long before the boy that was fighting alone was hit and fell to the ground. "Again," said the man in red armor with a big smile. "But Hashirama-sensei is not fair. It is 2 versus 1. Weren't you the one that said that you could defeat an army alone, Hiruzen?" asked the girl of the group. "That is true," said a boy who was using glasses. "Hiruzen, you need to understand that real fights are never fair. You can't expect that your enemies will want to face you in a 1 versus 1 battle. They will want to have the advantage in the same way that you need to always look to have the advantage in a fight. That is why we train to fight in these circumstances." "But how can I win when I am facing multiple enemies?" asked the boy named Hiruzen. "You turn the fight from 1 versus many to a 1 versus 1, by making sure that each time you hit the enemy that he stays down and never allows them to use their numbers to surround you," explained Hashirama, the man in red armor. "But how can I do that?" asked Hiruzen. "I will teach you how, and believe it or not, the key is to have good footwork," Hashirama said, smiling at his young pupil. Back to the present. All those memories that felt like hours were no more than a couple of seconds in the real world. But this time, Naruto has a look in his eyes that shows that something was different. "I remember," Naruto said as he stood up in a jump and put himself in an angle where 2 of the bullies were in a line. "So, you want more?" said the leader as he got ready to kick Naruto again, but this time it was different. Because this time he saw how that bully raised his pants a little in the right leg, somehow knowing that he will be using that leg to kick him in the next second. So he anticipates that move, and using his left foot he blocks that attack, and in a bike move using the energy of the move he kicks the bully right between the legs. "Ugh!" The bully groaned as he was about to fall on his knees only to meet Naruto's elbow in the face. With that final attack he was out of combat. Naruto took advantage of the surprise and moved towards the boy that was behind the leader. The bully was surprised, but when he saw how the boy that they were bullying was getting closer he regained his nerve. So he tried to punch him in the face, but the blonde boy used his right hand to redirect that punch to the other side, leaving him open to an attack. An opportunity that Naruto took and with his left hand punched him in the solar plexus, driving the air from him. Now there was only one bully left, but that bully was the one that had hurt Hinata, and he will pay for that. The last bully, seeing he was the last one standing, tried to escape. However, Naruto picked up a rock and he launched it, and the rock hit the last bully in the leg, making him fall. He tried to stand up, but this time he could feel Naruto's foot on his back making pressure. "You like to hit girls on the faces, don't you?" asked Naruto as he moves in front of him. "But when you face someone in a one-on-one fight you run like a coward. Maybe you need to know what it feels like, so you never do the same again," Naruto said, and then he kicked him in the face, which broke his nose. "We'll tell everybody about this," said the leader, as he was beginning to recover. "That 3 new genin lost against a second-year academy student, and that you also attacked the Hyuga clan head's daughter? Please be my guest, now if you do not have anything else to do. Remember this and leave us alone, because the next time, I will get serious," Naruto said, glaring at the down bullies. The 3 bullies saw that they couldn't win this and chose to leave as Naruto walked towards where Hinata was on the ground, where she saw everything. "Hinata-chan," said to Naruto as he kneels in front of her and raises his hand and touches the part of her lip that was cut and was bleeding from the kick that she received. But when he touched her, green chakra came from his hand, healing her. "I am sorry. This always happens to me when the villagers blame me for anything. I am used to this, but I do not want you to get hurt because of me. I believe that it would be for the best if I stay away from you," Naruto said, and inside he felt like he was dying. He didn't want to lose his only friend, but he knew it was for the best. After all, if he remained around her, she would get hurt, and it would be his fault. He definitely did not want that. And with that, Naruto stood up and turned around to leave that place, trying to hold back his tears. About how he would have to leave his only friend in order to protect her. But then she holds his hand. "Please don't leave," Hinata pleads. "But if we remain friends, things like this may happen again, and I do not want to see you get hurt because of," Naruto rebuts. "I don't care, you are my only friend and I do not want to lose you. I know that I am weak, but I promise that I will become stronger so you do not have to worry about me. Just please do not leave me," begging Hinata with tears in her eyes. For some reason, seeing Hinata's tears was something that he couldn't take and had to do something about that. "Are you sure that you will not regret this?" he asked, trying to give her an out. Part of him wished she would leave, but another part of him wanted her to remain. "Never, I told you before, I will never abandon you," Hinata answers firmly. At those words, Naruto smiles because he knew that Hinata was a true friend, a friend that he will treasure always. "Okay, we better keep going or you will worry your mom," Naruto said. "By the way, when did you learn medical ninjutsu?" Hinata asked curiously. "About that, I don't know how to explain it. Do you remember the dreams that I told you about?" And with that, the two of them leave the training area. Chapter 2: The Journey of Souls 02. It was afternoon, and we found a young girl walking alone towards the Hyuga complex. She had a thoughtful expression that would look strange on someone so young. The young girl had lavender pupilless eyes, long brown hair, and a fair complexion. This girl's name was Hanabi Hyuga. Hanabi Hyuga is a prodigy of the Hyuga clan's main house, one that some of the Hyuga elders hoped would one day surpass Niji Hyuga of the branch house. All the clan expects great things for her, but does Hanabi want to? That is something even she did not know. Her beloved older sister Hinata was always so kind to her, even after the fight for succession of the clan. She always took time to have fun with her and even spent time with their sick mother and made her smile, despite feeling so ill. Unfortunately, since that fight their father forced them to have, she didn't know how to face Hinata again. She felt she stole her place in the clan and her destiny. At least that is how she feels, and now she is afraid that her sister hates her, and for that reason it was hard to be close to her. For that reason, she tries to avoid her sister, with the exception of when they see their mother. Then they try to show their mother that they are happy, if only to make their mother happy. After that, she could see how sad her sister was and how bad the other members of the clan treated her. She hated herself for being too afraid to talk to her sister again, to be close like they used to be. In the last few months, however, she had changed. She has more energy and is more active. Not only that, but there is a light in her eyes that showed how her older sister was doing just fine and how happy she was. She was, just like she used to be. No, that wasn't quite right, she looked a lot better than before, but she wondered why and what changed. Don't get her wrong, she was happy to see that her sister is doing fine, but at the same time she was curious. Mostly because that change happened too soon and her young mind couldn't understand what could have happened. Now that the academy is on holidays, she was hoping that maybe this time she could finally get the courage to talk with her, but her sister always leaves the clan complex early and returns late afternoon. When she returned, she always looked tired but happy. Something good must have happened to her, and she wanted to know what it was. She was hoping that maybe that would help restore their relationship as to what it used to be and still should be. She was, however, afraid, much too afraid to ask. So she did the only thing that she could do. One day that she didn't have training with her father that morning, she followed her sister. What she saw surprised her more than anything had before. She follows Hinata to a training ground in the farther part of the park where Hinata meets a boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. She remembers seeing the boy on the streets with the other villagers glaring at him. She also remembered how her guardian told her to always stay away from him. But now her beloved sister was not only in that boy's company, but she was smiling a large beaming smile when the boy returned. They sat in front of each other in a meditation pose, and because of the distance, and she didn't want to reveal her location, she couldn't hear what they were saying. They remained like that for a while, and when Hanabi was about to leave, she saw them stand up. After a few moments of stretching and warming up, the two got in their stances. It was obvious that they were about to spar with each other. She was surprised at the level of skill and power her sister was showing. Hanabi thought that those attacks and forms were of the same level of their cousin Niji. The way she attacks the blonde and how she avoids and blocks his attacks, it was amazing. Both of them were simply so amazing. After a while she saw how Hinata managed to kick the boy in the stomach, winning the spar. But that match only made her wonder, if Hinata Nizan is this strong, then why did she lose the day of the duel? That was the only thought that occupied her young mind as she walked home. She would have liked to stay longer, but that was impossible as she needed to head home for her afternoon training session. She knew she would have to either further spy on them or ask her sister up front. She did not know what she should do. Back with Naruto and Hinata, at the beginning of their day. For Hinata, this day promises to be a good one. After all, it will be the first day in the midterm holidays. That means that she will be spending every day beginning to end with Naruto. She didn't bother to explain where she would be to her clan, because they never asked for her. However, she always made sure that she would be back home to have tea with her mother and sister. That tea time was something that was special between them. She leaves the complex and in a few moments she was already in their training ground. Naruto was there already and was waiting for her. "Hi Hinata-chan, are you ready for today's training?" Naruto asked, smiling at her. "Good morning Naruto-kun," and of course Hinata replies, smiling back. "Great, now let's begin as always," Naruto said as he sits down in a lotus pose with Hinata doing the same. "Do you remember what we had talked about in our last training?" he asked. "About chakra being everywhere?" Hinata replies. "Yes, chakra exists everywhere in this world, connecting all living things. That is why it should be possible to connect each other's chakra. But to do that we first need to master our own chakra," Naruto explained, confusing Hinata. "That sounds different from what Irika-sensei told us," Hinata said, wondering what he was talking about. "I know, but that is what that strange man from my dreams was telling those kids. To be honest, I don't fully understand it myself. However, so far the things that I have learned in those dreams haven't failed me," Naruto replied. Hinata only nodded. Normally if someone would tell her that they were learning from strange people that show up in their dreams, she wouldn't believe it. Since it was Naruto-kun, however, that is different because that is the only way that she could explain not only his fast advancement in training, but also how he knew how to teach and train others. "Now let's begin our training for today. We should try to strengthen our chakra, but at the same time try to feel the chakra that is already around you," Naruto instructed. "Yes, Naruto-kun," Hinata exclaimed and began to focus. "Focus on your chakra, a little at first, just like the fire from a match, and then let it grow inside you. Can you feel it?" Naruto asked. "Yes," Hinata replied. "Now, while keeping that fire inside you, try to feel the chakra around you and then lead it towards the chakra that is inside you and allow it to grow inside you," he further instructed. "It is too difficult to do," Hinata said after trying his suggestion. "I know, but even if it is too hard, we must begin somewhere and then advance one step at a time. But you know what? Even if it takes us years to do that, we will be doing it together," Naruto reassured me. The two friends continued doing that exercise for an hour, and then they moved to the next part of their training, sparring. As the two of them got ready and then began to train, Naruto noted something. "Hinata, are you holding back again?" Naruto questioned, but it carried an undertone of being an accusation. Hinata just remained silent, giving it away since she couldn't lie. Hinata, you can't keep doing that, Naruto said in exasperation. But I do not want to hurt anyone, Hinata explained, trying to defend her actions. I know, but you will hurt them even more if you hold back, he reasoned. Hinata now has a concerned look on her eyes. What do you mean? She asked, trying to figure out whether or not she's been unintentionally hurting those close to her. Hinata, tell me how you would feel if I hold back while we are sparring? Naruto asked, and the look on Hinata's face when she looked down was all the answer that Naruto needed. He continued his explanation by saying, Hinata, if we hold back we will be stopping the growth and improvement of our sparring partners and ourselves. We are training to be ninjas, it will be a cruel world and our best hope to survive is to get better every day. To do that we must give our best in every training session, not only for ourselves but for the friends that are training with us. Hinata was amazed with Naruto's personality. One moment he was a funny kid with lots of energy, and the next moment he showed a maturity beyond the adults that she knows. Only to return to being the same boy that has become her first real friend. Even if we get hurt, we will get better in a little while and stronger in the long run. So Hinata, if you really care about me, come at me with everything that you got, and then try to break that limit. Naruto finished. He could see that she was thinking about and considering his words. But what if I am not strong enough, just as my clan said? Hinata asked him sadly. You must stop worrying about being exactly what your clan wants you to be, and begin to focus on what you can be by yourself. I am sure that you will be even more amazing than what you would ever dream. Just believe in yourself because I sure believe in you. Naruto replied, trying to alleviate her stress and sadness. Hearing his words, Hinata blushed a little, but with a determined look in her eyes she got ready. Byakugan, Hinata said with confidence and then asked, Are you ready for Naruto-kun? I was born ready, Naruto exclaimed before getting in his starting position. With that they once again began to spar. With each movement Hinata's stance began to change. You could still see the traditional Hyuga-juken stance when it hit, but Hinata's version is more relaxed and agile. She no longer seemed to care about keeping the image that her clan expected her to keep. In doing so, she began to release her instincts, and relied on them. In doing so, her movements had become faster and faster each second, until she finally landed a kick on Naruto's stomach that sent him flying and he landed on his back. For a moment she was scared that she may have hurt him, and now hated her. Whoa, that was amazing, Hinata-chan. I knew that you were super strong, but not that you were to this level, Naruto excitedly said with a smile on his face as he stood up. He continued by saying, I guess that now I need to improve my taijutsu, if I want to be a good sparring partner for you. By the way, what were those moves that you did? You are already an amazing sparring partner, Naruto-kun, and to be honest I didn't know. I just let myself go and relied on my instincts. Hinata explained, thinking about what just happened when she finally let go. Well, you should do it more often and not only in your ninja training. Do it in everything because this free Hinata is amazing, Naruto said, clearly excited and wanting to see what this version of his best friend would be like, what she could do. Those words made their way right to Hinata's soul. No one has ever motivated her and encouraged her as Naruto did. It also helped to know that she will not be looked down on for just being herself, and made her see herself in a new light. Are you ready for round 2? Naruto asked, getting back in position. Yes, Naruto-kun, Hinata replied, doing the same. And so, they began the second round, and then a third one and a fourth one, all of them with Hinata winning, so that as they continued to spar she got more confident. Naruto, for his part, each time that he fell a new set of memories flashed before his eyes showing new forms and moves. However, just because he could see them, it didn't mean that he could master them in the moment. Still, he was getting better at passing each moment, while they sparred. At noon they took their lunch and talked about everything and nothing at all, just enjoying the moment. After that, they kept practicing for a few more hours until it was time for Hinata to return to the clan complex. I have to go now. My mom must be waiting for me, Hinata said, feeling tired and a bit sad to leave. Well, I will see you tomorrow, Hinata-chan, Naruto replied, a bit sad that she's leaving. However, he understood and knew he would see her tomorrow. But before I leave, I have to give you something, Hinata said, as she took a packet from her backpack. When Naruto saw what it was, he raised his eyebrow in confusion. A book? Naruto asked curiously. Yes, is the academy textbook that we need to have to do our middle term holiday homework. You said that you don't have one. she explained, and hoped he would take it. Yes, I tried to get it, but it was too expensive, and the old lady of the library always said that all the copies are borrowed. Naruto explained after he realized what she meant. But this is just an academy book, it shouldn't be that expensive, Hinata replied, not understanding why it would be expensive. That is what they told me. But are you sure that you can lend me this book? Won't you get in trouble because of that? Naruto asked, not wanting his friend to get in trouble. That is okay, there are many like that one in the clan library, and you need it to do the assignment on the Hokages. She reassured. After hearing this, Naruto went silent for a moment, while he was thinking. Thanks a lot, Hinata-chan, and do not worry. I promise that I will return this book in the same state that you gave it to me, Naruto said, and with that they said their goodbyes and then went their separate ways. With Hinata. When Hinata arrived at her clan's complex, she took a quick shower and moved to her mother's room, where she will have tea with her mother and sister, like they always do. Mother, can I come in? Hinata asked. Of course, honey, a gentle voice said from inside. When she entered, she saw that her sister Hanabi already was there, sitting in front of her mother with the private nurse that is always behind her mother. How was your day, honey? Her mother asked, smiling at her oldest daughter. It was fine, Okasama. Hinata replied, taking her seat. Oh, I had told you that you do not need to be formal when we are alone, honey, her mother said. Yes, mother, Hinata replied. You know that Hanabi and I were talking about what we could do during these holidays. I am sorry that because of my state we can't go to any place to have a vacation trip, her mother says, feeling guilty. Do not worry about that, Mom, we like to be with you even like this, said Hanabi. But I feel that I am letting you down, their mother once again says, guilt filling her. You will never let us down, Mother, no matter what happens we will always be happy to be with you, Hinata reassured me. Her mother took that moment to see her older child with a smile. You have changed, and in a good way. I wonder what is the cause of that change. Did something good happen to you? Her mother asks. At those words Hinata remained silent, wondering if she should tell her the truth. Could it be that you meet someone? Her mother asks. Hinata began to blush, giving it away. Would that person be a boy? Her mother continues. Now Hinata's face was a deep red and she began to play with her fingers. Her mother smiled at her reaction. I have a great idea. Why don't you introduce me to your friend? Her mother asked. But Mom, the rules about visitors say that. Hinata replies, but don't worry about that. I will have Naomi-chan here to make sure that he has no problem getting in. Her mother interrupts. Are you sure, Mom? Hinata asks, feeling nervous about all this. Of course, I want to meet my little princess friend. Tell you what, why don't you bring him here tomorrow when you get home so he can join us? Her mother answered, smiling at her daughter. Hinata was worried, because even if she knew that her mother wouldn't have any problem with Naruto-kun's presence, she knew that the rest of the clan would not be happy. Then again, she couldn't say no to her mom's request. She probably wouldn't be allowed to see her best friend again in that case. I will invite him tomorrow, Hinata said in resignation, knowing there was no way to prevent or escape this. That is great, I will have all your favorite snacks waiting for you, her mother said excitedly. And so, they kept talking for an hour, but then their time together ended. Hinata-sama, Hanabi-sama, I am afraid that it is time for Akane-sama's medicine, then she needs to rest, Naomi said. After they exchange goodbyes, they leave their mother's room. Hinata Wanchan? Hanabi asked after they left the room. Yes, Hanabi-chan? Hinata asked in surprise that her sister is talking to her like she used to. I just want to say that you look great lately, Hanabi said as she quickly speeds up in the other direction, leaving Hinata wondering what just happened. Back in their mother's, Akane's room. Are you sure that it is a good idea, Akane-sama, to bring an outsider to the clan complex? Naomi asked. It is just a kid, but more importantly, you were with me when the doctor gave me my last test results, weren't you? Akane replied. Naomi lowered her face and nodded a little. I am living on borrowed time and I could leave this world at any moment. Before that happens, I want to do things that a mother is supposed to do, especially with the boy that is helping my little girl when I can't do anything, Akane explained sadly. I understand, but wouldn't it be better to spend your time alone with Hayashi-sama and the girls? Naomi asks. He is afraid about what is happening to me, and for that fear he is making terrible mistakes. However, unfortunately, I no longer have the strength to help him overcome this, Akane morosely says, wishing she could do more for her family. In Naruto apartments. Naruto has finished preparing his instant ramen cup he is having for dinner. He was tired after today's training and he just wanted to finish that boring homework, so he can return that book as soon as he can. He was sure that he could do it all in one night. After all, how hard can it be to do a stupid report about the previous Hokages? He sits in front of his old table and opens the book to see the same pictures that Iruka-sensei used to give his class. He began with the fourth Hokage. Ever since he saw his picture, he realized that they looked alike. He began to wonder if maybe he was his dad. He knew that all the orphan kids dreamed that their parents were famous heroes or that they were in a faraway and dangerous mission and had to leave them in Konoha. However, if the four Hokage really was his father, it would mean that he can't be with him like all the other fathers with their kids because he died as a hero saving the village. That all the things that he had been hearing since the orphanage about how his parents were monsters that abandoned him and criminals and many others mean things were just lies. So gathering his will, he raised his hand and asked Iruka-sensei if the four Hokage were married or in a relationship with someone or even had a child. He knew that some parents have kids without being married, also hoping to learn more about him and maybe learn if there was a woman that could be his mom. But the answer that he got broke that dream. As far as I know, he was married, but his wife died in the Kyuubi attack along with many others, but he never had the chance to have a child. Iruka had answered his question. Of course he doesn't, and he feels so stupid to have that little ray of hope. He knew from the beginning that that was impossible, because if he really was a Hokage's son, even as an orphan the villagers wouldn't have treated him the way they did. He moved to the next page and he saw the old Hokage. He already knew him because from time to time he came to give him some money. He read some more stuff about him before he moved to the next page, and that is when things began to get weird. Once he saw the face of the second Hokage, Naruto felt a sense of déjà vu. That face, I have seen it before, but where? Naruto keeps reading about him, his achievements, and with each thing that he read the déjà vu that he has got stronger. But when he read that he was the younger brother of the first Hokage, he jumped to that page. What he saw froze him in his spot. It can't be! Naruto exclaimed when he saw the picture of the first Hokage. He immediately recognized him as one of the people that he saw in his dreams. Then he realizes that is why he recognized the second Hokage. He was with the first Hokage in those dreams. So far, he didn't know what to think about those dreams because he didn't know who those people were. However, now he had recognized one of them, and it was the first Hokage. He didn't understand how that was possible, but at that moment, that didn't matter. What mattered is that somehow he was seeing the first Hokage, on his way to become a legend, and if he paid more attention he could turn out to be as amazing as he was. That night he read all that he could about Hashirama Senju. Oh man, he can't wait to tell Hinata about that. The next morning, Naruto got to the training ground early. He could hardly keep his excitement in check. Last night he read all that the book had about the first Hokage, which included his battles, victories, hardships, just everything the book could offer him. He was deeply impressed by the man. Though more important is that he read that he had a unique power, the wood-released Mokuton. At first, he didn't understand what was so great about making trees grow and controlling the wood, but when he read the things that he could do with the wood, he was impressed. Now all that he needs to do is learn who is the other guy that appears in his dreams. That is why he wanted to talk with Hinata. Maybe she could lend him another book that has pictures of legendary ninjas, and who knows, maybe that other guy will be one of them. So, while he was waiting for Hinata, he took one of the seeds that he found on his way here and began to focus on it. But to his disappointment nothing happened. Ah man, how could he do all that the book said he could do? Naruto asked himself, as he tried again with the same result. After a few more tries he chose to try to add some chakra, but still nothing happened. What are you doing, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked from behind him. HHH, you scare me, Hinata-chan, Naruto exclaimed while trying to calm his heart rate. Sorry, but I was calling you and you didn't respond to me. Anyway, what were you doing when you heard me? Hinata replied. You won't believe what I found out last night thanks to you, Naruto said excitedly. And so, Naruto told her what he learned last night. Hanabi has the day off, as her father must attend some clan's business all day. Lately he has been busy all the time. For a moment she thought about following her sister one more time, but she decided against that. She didn't know what to think about what she saw yesterday. Hinata Nizan was amazing, but why did she lose against me if she was this strong? Could it be that she lets me win, thought Hanabi, not liking the feeling that she had in her belly when she considered that possibility. Or it could be that that blonde boy did something to help her become this strong? I can't understand what is happening. She continued thinking. She was getting frustrated by this situation as well as the fact that she didn't know what to think. Later. The day had advanced and now it was time for Hinata to return home. However, this time, she wasn't alone and looked nervous. Are you sure that they will let me in? Naruto asked, feeling anxious. My mom said that she will make sure that there will be no problem. Hinata replied as they walked to the compound. But what about the rest of your clan? You know that the adults don't like me, Naruto asked. He was deeply worried about how this could turn out. They will not defy my mom's orders. Hinata simply answered in a matter-of-fact tone. But they still will not like me, Naruto said sadly. Hinata remained silent, knowing that what Naruto said was true. But I was really surprised when you told me that one of the men in your dreams is the first Hokage, Hinata said, trying to change the topic. I know, I never even knew that he was a Hokage until I saw his picture in that book, but it was him from when he was a kid all the way to his days as an adult. Naruto replied, remembering what he read and how surprised he was. But how do you see him in your dreams? Hinata asked, when Naruto told her that one of the men that he had been seeing in his dreams was the first Hokage. She believed him, not because of their friendship or loyalty to him, but because she just felt it was true. I don't know, I only have those dreams when I am sleeping. Oh, and remember that time with those bullies? When the leader hit me, I saw the first Hokage teaching some kids some of his moves, and somehow I felt that I could do it, Naruto answered. That is amazing, Naruto-kun, Hinata said in awe of her best friend. And so they kept talking until they were in front of the Hyuga complex, Naruto looking nervously at the two guards, who were looking at him with a cold look in their eyes, but said nothing as Naomi showed up. She also looks at Naruto with that same look. She didn't say anything as she led them to the room where Hinata's mother and sister were waiting for them. Hello, nice to meet you, young man. I am Hinata's mom, Akane Hyuga, and this is my younger child Hanabi, Akane said from her wheelchair. And nice to meet you, Naruto nervously said. He never liked to be close to adults, they are always mean to him. Oh, you don't have to be so nervous. After all, I was the one that wanted to meet Hinata's friend Akane and tried to soothe the boy. Why? He replied, trying to understand. No one wanted to meet him, so why did she? I suppose it's just natural for a parent to want to meet their kids' friends, Akane answered. I don't have parents, so I wouldn't know, Naruto replied in a sad tone. That answer made Akane, Hanabi and even Hinata feel bad for him. I just wanted to thank the boy that is making my little Hinata happier these days, Akane said after a moment. Mom, Hinata said while blushing. It is okay, honey, I am just complimenting him, Akane said with a tired smile. Mom, are you okay? You look tired, Hanabi asked. I am fine, honey, just a little tired, Akane answered her youngest daughter. Maybe I should leave so you can rest? Naruto offered. He was nervous to be in this situation and had no clue what to say or do. Don't worry, besides I am curious about you and want to learn more about you, Akane denied, and so, Akane began to ask little questions like how they met, for how long they have been friends and what they do when they are together. The normal kinds of stuff that a mother would ask. All this was a new experience for Naruto, that an adult would talk to him without calling him a demon and try to keep their children away from him. But there was something wrong, because even he could see that Hinata's mom didn't look too well. Naruto, I want to thank you for being Hinata's friend, and I hope that your friendship can continue for many years, because I can see how happy and strong she has been since she met you, Akane said tiredly. That will be no problem, because Hinata-chan is my best friend and we will always be together, and will help each other with anything that may happen, Naruto replies, though he was concerned. Akane-sama, I am afraid that is time for your treatment, Naomi said. It is a shame, I really wanted to keep talking with you, but I have to leave now. Please enjoy the candies and feel free to. That was all that Akane could say as she collapsed to the floor as she lost consciousness. Mommy, were the screams of Hinata and Hanabi, but her mother didn't respond. I will get help, you stay here, Naomi ordered after she confirmed that her mistress was still breathing. Mommy, please wake up, Hanabi said with tears in her eyes. Mom, please, Mom, open your eyes, added Hinata, also crying as she saw how the pale face of her mother didn't react, and she began to feel the fear grow in her heart. All this was happening while Naruto was watching the events that were happening before his eyes. All this had begun with nice talk with Hinata's mom, and for the first time he wasn't hated by an adult. Because he tried to be friends with their child. Hinata's mom looks to be as nice and gentle as Hinata, and now something terrible happened, and he didn't know what to do. The fear and tears in Hinata's eyes hurt him like nothing that has hurt him before. Damn, if only there was something that I could do, Naruto said in a low voice. Then an idea hit him and he thought, wait, that day with the bullies I managed to cure the injury on Hinata-chan's face, maybe I can do it again. With that idea in mind, Naruto kneels next to Akane and takes her hand and begins to focus chakra into it. After the event with the bullies, Hinata had told him that what he did was medic ninjutsu, and that used chakra. So far, he tried to do it again many times, but always failed. Please let this work, please let this work, please let this work, Naruto chanted in his mind. What are you doing to my mom? Hanabi demanded as she moved to stop him, but she was stopped by her sister. Wani-san! He is trying to help our mom, please give him this chance, Hinata said. Please Naruto-kun, I believe in you, Hinata pleaded as the blue shine of Naruto's chakra began to grow but after a few moments began to lose power. Damn, why can't I do it? Am I really this useless? Hinata-chan will lose her mom because I can't do anything right. No, not yet, Naruto said as he began to put more power into his efforts. He wasn't going to fail this time, he would save her. Inside Naruto's seal. The wave of emotions woke Kurama from his nap. After seeing what had just happened from Naruto's perspective, he smiles. Interesting, it looks like the story is repeating itself. If the story that Ashura told our father about how he met his wife is true, but this brat doesn't have the power to help her, Kurama said as he saw his cage. This seal is made so that if I have evil intentions towards this brat it will cut the connection. However, if I do not have those intentions it should be possible for me to send him some of my chakra. Normally I wouldn't care what happened to those humans, but if he is really Ashura's reincarnation I guess that we are related and share a bond with the old man. And maybe, just maybe he could be the one that father told us about before he dies, Kurama concluded. Back with Naruto. Naruto's chakra was about to fade. I guess that I am truly useless, Naruto said in despair as he felt that he no longer has the strength to keep trying. In that moment he turns to see Hinata. He was about to say that he was sorry that he couldn't do anything, but in the moment that he saw her and how her tears were falling from her face, something happened. In a blink of an eye Naruto was no longer in that room in the Hyuga complex. He was on a road deep in a forest, but he wasn't alone, there were other people there and in the middle of that group it was him, the other man that also appears in his dream with the first Hokage. From there many more images began to show up. The problems that these people have, the danger of their situations, and then he saw her. A young woman that begged him to save her mother. And just as they began the images leave Naruto that now was looking at Hinata's pearl-like eyes and said, "I remember." Right after he said that the chakra in his hands began to grow again as it changes color from blue to a light golden color as Naruto put more effort into what he was doing. It was at that moment that the servants began to arrive to help Akane and stood frozen when they saw what was happening. "What are you doing to Akane-sama, you demon brat?" said one of the servants as he steps forward to kick Naruto out of that room. "And oh!" exclaimed Hinata as she moved between the servant and Naruto, who was too focused on helping her mom to know what was happening around him. "Hinata-sama, please get out of the way, we need to remove that demon so we can help your mother," the servant pleaded with the girl. "No! He is not a demon, he is my friend and right now, he is helping my mom," Hinata yelled, standing firm. "He is just a useless brat, and we are wasting time here, now please move or I will be forced to make you move," the servant demanded, losing his patience. "He is not useless, and I will not move from here," Hinata declares as she activates her. "So be it, I will explain this to Heishi-sama later," said the man as he advances to remove Hinata and Naruto out of the room. That man wasn't expecting too much resistance from Hinata, the weak child of the clan head that everybody believed that she would be sealed when she comes of age. That impression ended when he felt a powerful strike right to his stomach, unlike anything that he has ever felt, not even in the last war. He looks down to see how Hinata's arm is making impact with him, just before he is sent flying against the wall that is behind him and hits some of the other servants that were behind him. "No one will stop Naruto-kun. Right now he is the only one that can save my mom and I will protect him," Hinata said as she took a battle stance. It was at that moment that something happened, when a soft voice came from behind her. "What is happening?" Akane asked as she began to wake up as if from a deep sleep. "MOM," said Hinata and Hanabi as they moved towards their mother who was trying to get up. "What happened? Why am I on the floor?" Akane asked, not yet understanding what had happened. Akane-sama, please don't push yourself. Naomi said she had managed to avoid the servants that Hinata had struck. I am fine, or at least I feel far better than before, Akane said as she tries to get up to a sitting position. When they saw that she was getting some troubles for that, Naomi helped her. What happened? Akane asked. You fainted, and while Naomi-san went to get some help, Naruto-kun helped you, answered Hinata, who was kneeling next to her mom with Hanabi at her side. After saying that, she turned to see her friend, who remained still in the same place when he began to help her mother, but with his face low. Naruto-kun, thank you for helping my mom, Hinata said, but for some reason Naruto didn't respond to her words. Naruto? Hinata got close, and when she touched his shoulder to see what was happening, Naruto fell unconscious. Naruto-kun! Hinata exclaims, worried for him. The people gathered there began to react, and the chaos began again. Hayashi was running as fast as he could with a feeling of fear growing deep inside him as he got close to his home. The reason for that is the message that a servant managed to get to him when he was in a council meeting. Akane-sama has collapsed, it looks serious, you must return to the complex, said the servant, and in the next second he was running as fast as he could towards his home. He didn't bother to stop to ask what was happening to the guards and headed to the medical wing of the clan because he believed that that is where his wife would be, and he was correct. At the doors of the medical wing he could see some of his clan members gathered outside what must be his wife's room, but soon made room for him to get into the room. Those last few steps were the longest in his life, where he was waiting to see the dead face of his wife in one of the medical beds. So, taking a deep breath to gather his strength, so he can still keep the dignity that a clan head is supposed to have even in these circumstances. Even if all that he wanted is to cry over the death of his wife, giving a final step he saw. Get off me! I already told you that I am fine, so you better go and help the others to take care of Naruto-kun, said a furious Akane. Please, Akane-sama, the other medic is already looking at the kid and said that he only fainted because of chakra exhaustion. A young nurse tried to argue. Hayashi didn't understand what was happening. Not only was his wife alive, but she looked a lot better than she had in a long time. Which is strange, because when he saw her before he left in the morning for that meeting, he saw how tired and weak she looked, and that hurt him, seeing how his wife, who to him was one of the strongest women he has ever seen, that she was being reduced to such a fragile state, made him feel even worse. After all, it was all his fault that she ended up in that situation. But now, even if she was lying down in a nursery bed, he could see the same fire and determination that he remembered when she was younger and was with her friends Kushina and Mikoto. What is happening here? Asked Hayashi, who the very second Akane turns to see him, he knew from that look that she isn't happy to see him. He just knew he was in for it. Just giving her some instructions so she can take better care of my guest, the young nurse informed his clan head. It was just a second after he heard the nurse that he turned to see the other person that is being treated in the nursery. Not only that, but Hinata and Hanabi, who were standing in the corner seeing everything. What is he doing here? Hayashi asked coldly. He said Akane with enough strength to make sure that everybody hears her. Is my guest, and not only that, but he got hurt saving my life. I will make sure that he receives the best treatment available. Then she turned her eyes towards him. And you and I are going to have a serious talk about what you have been doing, she declared towards her husband. At that moment Hayashi realized something. That not only is his wife going to live, but that she has regained her old fire, and that will be both good and bad for him. That night in Hanabi's room. It was late at night, but the young girl couldn't sleep. All the emotions that she has experienced today were so intense that even now she could still feel how her heart was beating like she had been running for hours. She was still confused about how all this had happened, but she was certain of one thing. The miracle that she had been praying for has just happened. Many of the adults of the clan believe that she is still a little child, but she knows things. Things that they tried to keep from her, but that she knew. About how they hoped that she would be the new leader of the clan, how they had been losing prestige, how they saw her sister Hinata, but more than anything to her, how they believe that the clan will change after Akane-sama passes away. She remembers how hard she cried in her room the night that she heard a couple of maids talking about that they didn't see her, and she managed to leave her room without anyone seeing the tears in her eyes. Those maids had said that they overheard the doctors of the clan talking, saying that she can die at any moment, and how sad it is seeing her try to be strong and spend as much as time as she can with her children. After that she tried to be strong for her mom, But as the days passed and she saw how she got weaker, and she feared that the end was close. But she was a Hyuga and she needed to be strong at all moments, at least that is what her father told her. But today everything changed. The boy that her sister has said is her first real friend has done the impossible. Everything began when her sister brought her friend, Naruto, that is a funny name. Her mother began to talk with him. The kid sure looked nervous, but he didn't seem like a bad kid. Then after a while talking and drinking tea, her mom collapsed and from that point everything seemed to move too fast. She remembers how Naomi ran outside to ask for her, how she froze in the moment, but more important she remembered him. Naruto, how he kneeled next to her mother and tried to help her. At first she tried to stop him but her sister prevented her from doing that. I believe in him, her sister told her. She has never seen her sister so secure of anything. At first it looks like all was for nothing and that her mother would really die. But after a few minutes something happened as the chakra that Naruto was using began to change to a golden color. That color was something so beautiful that she had never seen before. She remembered how she asked her father, the same day that she activated her Byakugan for the first time, if the chakra that she is seeing could be of other colors besides the blue one that she saw. Her father told her, however, that is not possible, and the only way that the chakra can change color is when the shinobi is using it. But before her eyes, Hinata's friend's chakra was turning to a beautiful golden color. She activated her Byakugan and saw that Naruto's chakra network was amazing. Some parts of it was blue, then some parts of it was red, and in the end, it changed to golden. The arrival of more clan members made her come back to the present, just to see how her kind sister not only faced the clan members, but also hit Taka Hyuga, a veteran of the last war, and sent him flying against the wall behind him, pushing the other two clan members behind him. Before anyone else could do anything else, her mother woke up. God, her mother was alive, and she looks better than what she had a moment ago. She ran towards her and along with Hinata she gave her the biggest hug that she could. Her sister turned to Naruto to say thank you, but then the next thing we knew he collapsed and was taken to a hospital room in the medical wing. Other things happened afterwards, but nothing as important since. Now in her bed looking at the roof, every time that she closes her eyes she sees the golden chakra that has saved her mother's life. When she saw her sister training with Naruto, and how strong she was, it really surprised her, and now she is wondering if training with Naruto has that effect on her. Naruto, that blonde boy that is so different to anyone that she had met before, she now understands why her sister is so interested in him, and to be honest she was as well. I wonder if I could see that golden chakra again, said Hanabi as she finally allows the exhaustion of the day to overcome her, and falls asleep. So beautiful were her last words before she fell asleep. Chapter 3, The Journey of Souls 03. This is a miracle, said the doctor as he finished his checkup on Akane Hyuga. I told you, I feel fine, Akane said. That's what's so miraculous. Excuse me for saying this, Akane-sama, but I wasn't expecting you to last another week. While your body is still weak from how long you have been sick, I see no reason for you to not make a full recovery, but it will take time. The doctor explained to the Hyuga matriarch. That is great news, Mom. Hanabi said to hear the doctor say that her mother will live. As she gave her mother a big hug, she knew that she couldn't be happier. Okasama, Hinata said, and follows her sister's example and does the same. That is how Akane and her two children celebrate the good news. The tears of happiness running freely from their eyes. For Hinata and Hanabi this means that they will not lose their mom and that they can be together. For Akane this means a lot, she now has a second chance to be the mother that both her daughters need. As well as being able to help them become strong enough to overcome the challenges of not only the ninja life but as heiresses of the Hyuga clan. Something that she is planning to change the meaning of. From the door frame Hayashi witnesses this family event, wishing that he could be part of it. However, his position as the clan head prevents him from doing so, but even if he said that he knew that, it just was an excuse. The real reason why he didn't try to get closer to his family at the moment was the talk that he had with his wife last night. Flashback. How dare you? Akane demanded of Hayashi. She had just ordered the servants and her daughters to take Naruto to another room so she can talk with her husband alone. They all knew better than to get in her way. Akane, Hayashi lamely attempts to say but is cut off by his beyond furious wife. Silent. You have had your chance to talk to me when I asked you, even begged you to talk with me about the way that you treated our daughters. But you always used excuses and avoided me. Now you will listen to me whether you want to or not. She lectured Hayashi in a stern and cold tone. Hayashi remained silent as he saw how his wife was looking at him with a disappointed face from her wheelchair. Did you know how hard it was for me to know that I was dying? That I will miss all the important parts of my little girl's life? But I tried to be brave and tell myself that you will be there for them, that you will be a good father, and that you will protect them. I see that I placed my hopes in the wrong place. Akane told her husband, her voice full of sadness and disappointment. I did what needed to be done for the sake of the clan, Hayashi replied, repeating the same tired old excuse that he always used. You keep telling yourself that over and over, and one day you may believe that. But I know that you are scared of change, about the fact that you know that these stupid traditions are destroying the clan from inside. What happened to you? You said that one day you would change this clan for the better, to honor the memory of your brother, and now you are following the same path of those old idiots. Akane countered. It has to be done that way, he tries to justify his actions. No, it doesn't, and until you can see that, I hope that you enjoy sleeping alone. Akane ended the conversation, and with that she began to move her wheelchair past him and went to where Hinata and Hanabi were. All Hayashi could do was watch how his wife moved away from him. He wanted to go after her and make her see his reason. That he just couldn't watch her die little by little. That he was trying to make his children strong enough to resist her death and all the hardness that the future could bring them. The truth, however, is that he was scared about losing her and used this situation with his daughters as an excuse to hide that fear. Now he is facing a situation that he doesn't know how to face. How can I fix this situation? Thought Hayashi. Later that day we see Naruto begin to wake up, opening his eyes very slowly, only to see an unfamiliar roof. He begins to try to stand up and he feels that his body feels really heavy, but he does manage to get in a sitting position in bed. Just when he was wondering where he was, a happy voice called his name. Naruto-kun. When Naruto turns to see where the voice had come, he could see Hinata was at the door, entering the room and pushing her mom's wheelchair. However, once she saw that Naruto was awake, she hurried up to his side, leaving Hanabi with the task of pushing her mother's wheelchair. Thank you? Thank you so much, Hinata kept saying over and over again as she hugged him tightly. You are welcome, but it worked? Is your mother okay? Asked Naruto after he recovered from the big hug that Hinata gave him. I am fine, thanks to you, Akane said. She got close to him, thanks to Hanabi pushing her there. While Naomi watched them from outside the room. I have to say that I am very impressed to be able to use medic ninjutsu at such a young age. Where did you learn it? Akane asked while smiling at Naruto. I have been reading some books, was Naruto's answer. It wasn't technically a lie, but neither was it the truth, because he had been reading books but not medicine. Maybe he should have told her the truth, but after years of suffering at the hands of the adults of this village, he had learned to not trust too easily. She may look like a nice person and is Hinata's mom, but he had just met her and he is not willing to take the risk of telling her all that he knows about his dreams. Hinata for her part looked at Naruto with suspicion for a moment, but didn't say anything. After all, those dreams that are teaching him are Naruto's secret, and she owes him for saving her mother. Akane for her part could tell that Naruto didn't tell her all the truth. One of the benefits of being a jonin for many years is that she learned to read people. As well as the fact that Hinata seems to know what he is hiding, but she chose to not press the matter. What about the golden chakra? Asked Hanabi for the first time. I want to know more about that beautiful chakra. What gold chakra? Naruto asked, genuinely confused. The one that you used to cure my mom, added Hanabi, not believing that he didn't know about the golden chakra. But my chakra was normal, Naruto rebutted. Naruto-kun, in the last moments before you fall unconscious, your chakra turns to a golden color for just a moment, Hinata explains, confirming the event. Really? But how is that possible? Naruto asks. I don't know, Hinata replied. Normally chakra is blue, but for it to turn a golden color even for a moment before you fell unconscious was something that I didn't know was possible. What do you think of Okasama? Hinata said and turned when she asked for her mother's opinion. I don't know, maybe with a little research, we will be able to find out the reason, Akane suggested in response to her daughter. But until then, why don't you stay with us? She asked Naruto. Naruto was surprised by that offer, and for a moment he thought about the offer, but after a moment he chose to answer. I don't think that will be a good idea, Naruto answered. Why not? You saved my life and this is the very least that I can do for you, Akane asked. But your clan would not be happy about me being here, Naruto replies. If I order it, then they will accept it, Akane said. That is the problem, they will accept it. But will not be happy about it. I see the looks that the adults give me on the streets, and I know that even if they were forced to accept me here, that they would not be happy and will look at me with the same eyes as the rest of the adults of the village, and I would prefer to at least have a place where I can go, and do not have to see those eyes. Naruto confesses to her. Akane lowers her face as she understands Naruto's feelings, and she knows what he said is true. At that moment a roar could be heard and they all looked to the source of that noise. Sorry, Naruto was a little embarrassed that they had to hear that. Don't worry. You haven't eaten anything since yesterday, and you used a lot of chakra. It's only natural that you are hungry, and inviting you to a nice meal is the least that I can do, Akane said. I do not want to bother. Naruto hedges. Naruto-kun, you saved my mom. You will never be a bother to me, Hinata assures us. Thank you, by the way, have any of you seen my backpack? Asked Naruto. I picked it up after everything calmed down, Hinata replied. Thanks, Hinata-chan, Naruto said, smiling slightly. With that said, they headed to the room where they had met when Akane collapsed. While they were waiting for the servants to bring the food, Hinata took the opportunity to bring Naruto his backpack. Thanks, Hinata-chan, said Naruto as he opened it and removed a book from it. This is the book that you lent me. Thanks to that I could finish all my homework, Naruto explained. But why didn't you use your own? Asked Hanabi. I can't afford it, and the school library will not allow me to borrow one. They said that they are only for advanced students. Naruto was a little ashamed while looking down. Thanks to that he didn't see how mad Akane's angry expression lasted only for a moment. You do not have to worry about books anymore, because I will make sure that you have all the books that you need, Akane decided. But I don't have money, Naruto replies quickly. And I didn't ask for it, you are my benefactor. This is something small in comparison to what you did to me, Akane assured. I didn't help you because I wanted a reward, I did it because you are Hinata-chan's mom, Naruto rebutted. And that makes you even more special. I know, what about if I lend you the books and after you have read them you can return them, said Akane. Are you sure? Naruto asks. Of course, besides that will give me the chance to talk with you more when you return those books, Akane answers smiling at Naruto. Naruto was surprised by these words. Hinata's mom wants to see him again, but it seems that she likes his presence. This is a first for him, not trusting his voice with the emotion he was feeling. He could only nod at her suggestion. And with that, the food arrived and they began to eat, and keep talking. So you have been training with Hinata? That's interesting, do you mind if I go and watch? Asked Akane. But aren't you still hurt from your condition? Asked Naruto. He's right, Mom, you're not ready to train again yet, added Hanabi. Who said that I will be training? I just want to get out of here for a while and get some sunlight and a change of view. After all this time that I was forced to be indoors, this will be a refreshing experience. Besides, I will just sit at a corner of the field and watch you if you agree, Akane explained and asked. I have no problem with that, Naruto answers after seeing Hinata nodding in agreement. In that case, I will go too, said Hanabi with excitement that she immediately tries to hide by saying, I mean I am still worried about Mom and want to be next to her, just in case. But the truth is that now she is even more curious about Naruto and wants to learn more about him. Later that day, when Naruto was about to leave, Akane gave the signal to one of the servants to give Naruto a stack of books, which he realizes are books that cover a variety of subjects. However, one of them catches his eyes as if it was a book that covers medicine. Thank you, Naruto said, already figuring out that Hinata's mom will not accept a no as an answer. My pleasure, Akane replies. And with that, Naruto leaves the Hyuga complex. He is something special, said Akane, then turning to her both daughters. There is no doubt that he will turn into an amazing man. I just hope that the woman that manages to get his heart understands that and treasures him. She continued. What do you mean, Mom? Asked Hinata with Hanabi paying close attention. You both are young, and still need more experience, but I can tell you that he is destined to accomplish great things. When that happens, many people will begin to pay more attention to him. Some of them may not have good intentions and will try to use him. Some of them could even be beautiful girls that will be interested not in him, but by what he may represent or what he has. I just hope that when that day comes, he will see the truth or at least have good friends that truly care for him, Akane explains to her daughters. With that said, she gives Naomi a signal and she begins to push her wheelchair back inside the complex, leaving both sisters to think about what she said. Back with Akane. My lady, Can I ask you something? Asked Naomi. What is it? Akane replies. Why did you tell them that? Naomi questioned. Because it is the true, Akane replies in a matter-of-fact tone. But you know the burden that he carries. His future will be full of pain and hardship. Whether or not he will be able to shine or find some level of happiness is something that I can't be certain about. Naomi replies. Thinking that way is understandable, with the level of information that you have on Naruto-kun. Akane counters. Are you implying that there is more to know about him? Naomi asks, surprised. That is correct, but I can't tell you more because it is an S-rank secret. Akane answers. I understand, my lady, but why would you give them both your implicit permission and encouragement for both Hinata-sama and Hanabi-sama to get close to him? Wouldn't it be enough to just tell Hinata-sama? They are friends after all, Naomi asks, confused by her mistress's actions. Did you see how Hanabi was looking at Naruto? Even with her Byakugan, when she believes that no one was looking at her, and every time that she asks something it was related to that golden chakra that he used. Do you know why that is? Akane asks. It could be that Hanabi-sama is curious about it, Naomi replies, contemplating the question. You know her. She will not stop until she manages to learn all that she can about that golden chakra. And for that, she will want to spend more time with him. Akane answers simply. Even so, there is no guarantee that she will develop more than a friendship with him. And what about Hinata-sama? Only noble clans are allowed to have more than one wife, and that is under extreme circumstances. Besides, they are too young. Naomi says. There is no need to worry. Not only do I know my daughters, but I also knew Naruto-kun's father. He was a real heartbreaker, even if he did not want to be one. Akane explains confidently. His father? Naomi asks. Today I would like to take my tea in the garden, Akane says, and Naomi understood what her statement meant. Naomi understood that her lady would not talk more about the topic, and proceeded to follow her instructions. The next day, in the same field that Naruto and Hinata had been using to train, we see them training again, but this time they have an audience. 3 figures staying in a tree's shadow, watching them. These 3 people were Akane, who was in her wheelchair, Hanabi, and Naomi. At first, Hinata was nervous about being watched by her mom while she was training, fearing that she could react like her father when he sees her. But thanks to Naruto, she managed to gather the courage and began to do their training as usual. First with meditation, then chakra exercise, and finally sparring while adding some of the tricks that Naruto has taught her. The sparring session was as intense as the one Hanabi saw when spying on them, but this time they raised the level a little more. The way that Hinata defended herself when Naruto attacked, how she counterattacked when she saw an opening, how her movements were fast and decisive. All while they have been watched under the supervision of Akane Hyuga. At the end of the day, when their sparring session ceased, Akane called them over so they could share some snacks that she had prepared. I have to say that I was impressed by your progress, Hinata-chan, Akane said, complimenting her daughter. Thanks, Mom, Hinata said happily. She was glad to hear that her mom is proud of her. By the way, Naruto, may I ask where you learned all those teaching techniques? Akane asked. From no one, I just do what feels natural and follow my dreams, Naruto answers. That is wonderful, you are truly a brilliant kid. By the way, may I ask you, is it possible for Hanabi to join your training sessions? Akane asked. That question not only surprised Naruto and Hinata but also Hanabi. I know that Hanabi wants to spend time with me, but I know that she would get bored only watching from a distance. Besides, I believe that it will be for the best if she learns more about what is outside of the complex. Akane explains. I am fine with that if that is what she wants, Naruto replies. What do you think, Hanabi-chan? Asked Akane. If that is what Okasama wants, then I am fine with it, Hanabi said while trying to hide the fact that she was happy. After all, the performance that she has just seen had shown her that this boy, Naruto, is really special. Not only that, but he is the reason for her big sister's improvement. All day she wanted to ask to join them, but she was just too shy to ask, but now thanks to her mother she has a chance to train the same way her sister does. Excellent, so from now on until the day classes start you can train with them, Akane said. And so they continued with their meal until it was time to leave. When they arrived at the border of the park they parted ways. While Hanabi and Hinata were a few meters ahead talking with each other, Naomi was pushing Akane's wheelchair. Hinata-sama sure has improved, Naomi said, trying to start a conversation with her mistress who was deep in thought. Yes, she has her answer. Are you alright, my lady? Akane asked. Naomi, didn't you find anything strange in the things that Naruto was teaching Hinata-chan? Akane asked, still with a serious face. I have to say that he was trained, and the things that he said to support and improve Hinata-sama were not only really effective, but he explained it in the correct way to help her. Naomi analyzed. And that is where the problem is, Akane said. Akane-sama asked a confused Naomi. It was too advanced for a little kid. I was part of the ANBU Corps, and many of the things that he said to Hinata-chan could work in our training routine, Akane explained. After a few seconds of silence, Naomi asked, do you believe that someone is teaching him? I don't think so. You saw how he reacts to other adults and strangers. If someone was teaching him, his attitude would be a little different, Akane answered. Then how do you explain all the things that he seems to know? Naomi asks. I don't know, Akane confesses. Could it be that he is a genius? Naomi suggests. That would not be a surprise, Akane concluded. With that said, they continue their trip in silence towards their clan complex. That night, in Naruto's apartment, we see how Naruto was reading the books that Hinata's mom lent him. Oh man, it will take me weeks to finish these books, and I don't want to abuse her kindness that much. So I'd better hurry up and read these books, Naruto said to himself, feeling frustrated. A couple of hours later, just as he had finished the first book, he was fighting off sleep and failing at it. The book he finished was just a small one. If only I could read more books at the same time, or when I am training with Hinata-chan. With that last thought, Naruto fell to sleep. That night he once again dreams about how that man in red armor, whom he knew was the first Hokage Hashirama, was talking with his brother Tobirama, who was the second Hokage. I see that you created a new one, Hashirama said to his brother. That is correct, this news will be of great help in the future, replied Tobirama. But what does it do? Hashirama asked. Just watch this, Tobirama said as he made the hand sign in the shape of a cross with his index and middle fingers, and after a small explosion of smoke, a replica of Tobirama was standing beside the original. One clone? But I already can make out what Hashirama said as he looks disappointed with a dark cloud over him. But not like this one, Tobirama defended his invention. These clones are unlike any other clones since they can be used for reconnaissance missions without risking the life of the shinobi, and if the clone is destroyed, it will transmit back all the information the clone had gathered to its creator. Really? That is impressive. Hashirama complimented his brother. That will reduce the risk that our shinobi face when they are gathering intel inside enemy territory. Not only that, but because these clones know all that the original knows, you can send them to do light duties while the original can do more physically demanding tasks. Tobirama explained. After Hashirama heard that, he got an idea. Do you mean that I can leave these clones doing all of the paperwork of the clan, while I can go and do other more interesting stuff? Hashirama asked his brother desperately. What? I did not create my shadow clone just so you can go and play around, Tobirama lectured his brother. But can it be used in that way? Hashirama asked. I will not teach you this if you are going to use it that way, Tobirama denied. Please! Hashirama begged his brother. The scene would be comical to anyone watching the two bicker. Naruto in his dream saw how the first Hokage annoyed his brother until he finally agreed to teach him that. Naruto watched the process and began learning. The next morning, he began to practice what he saw in the dream, and after a few tries, he managed to create one clone. He wanted to do a few more tests, but it was getting late, and he needed to meet with Hinata. So he left the clone and told him to begin reading those books. When he arrives at the training field, he sees that Hinata, Hanabi, her mother, and their servant, Naomi, are already there. Good morning! Naruto greets all of them. Good morning, was the answer that he received. Then he turns to Hanabi. Hi Hanabi-chan, are you ready to begin our training? Naruto asks the girl. Of course, I am ready, and I will advise you to not underestimate me, Hanabi answered, giving Naruto a warning. Okay, I have already done some sparring matches with Hinata-chan, so I already have an idea about what she is capable of doing. Now I would like to do the same with you, so we may find out how we can proceed with you as well, Naruto told Hanabi. That sounds interesting, but I warn you that I will not hold back, Hanabi replies sternly. I would never ask you to do that, Naruto assures Hanabi. So after they began to do some warm-ups, they got into their stances. But this time Naomi acts as a referee. Are you ready? Naomi asked the two and received nods from them and said begin. Hanabi didn't waste time and jumped to attempt to land the first strike on him, but Naruto managed to avoid the attack. Hanabi didn't stop there, however, as she turned to try to hit him again. Naruto deflected the strike by using the palm of his hand to push her forearm away from him. After a few sparring sessions with Hinata, Naruto has learned the painful lesson to never have any contact with her hands and feet. He was using those same lessons with Hanabi during their spar. Hanabi, for her part, was not only surprised but also impressed. After all, no one of her age group has been able to last this long against her. The sole exception was that of her cousin Niji. Strikes and kicks were being traded between them, and no one seemed to be ready to give up. But then Naruto capitalized on an opening and his larger arm was able to land a hit on her stomach, ending the match. For Hanabi this was a first. She has never lost this way before, and she didn't know how to react. Until Naruto got closer and offered her a hand to help her to stand up. "That was amazing, Hanabi-chan. I can see how you and Hinata-chan are sisters. You are awesome," Naruto said with a smile. Seeing Naruto with his blonde hair and blue eyes looking at her while the sun rays touched his back made Hanabi blush for a moment. "You are just being nice," I lost her answer. "That is not true, besides you didn't use your Byakugan. I am sure that you would have won if you had used it. Besides, that is why we train to become stronger every day," Naruto assures her. Hanabi gave a small smile as she accepted his hand. "Where did you learn to move like that?" asked Hanabi. "I just watched over from a distance while others train. You can learn a lot from that," answered Naruto, never mentioning that the people that he watches are in his dreams and that they are Hokage-level ninjas. After a few moments, they were joined by Hinata and began to train again, all under the watchful eye of Akane Hyuga. The days come and go, and soon a week has already passed. And Hanabi, Hinata, and Naruto had kept training. However, there was a small change in their routine. Since Akane no longer needed the wheelchair to get there, she instead now uses a cane. Considering that she was sick for a long time, it is only natural that she needs more time to fully recover. When they finished practice for the day and were about to leave, Naruto went for his backpack and took the books that they had lent him out to return. "Thanks a lot for the books. They were very interesting," Naruto said as he handed the books to Naomi. "But it has only been a few days since we gave you these books," Akane said, surprised. "Yes, and they have a lot of amazing stuff in there," Naruto said as he raised his hand and a green chakra began to form around it. This chakra color could only mean that the healing palm is being used. "See? I learned a lot from it," Naruto said after activating the healing palm. All who were present were surprised by what they saw. "Naruto, did you manage to learn that in only a few days?" asked an astonished Akane. "Yeah, it was pretty easy thanks to that book," said Naruto. But this is something that not even Naruto knew. Now that the knowledge of the healing techniques awakened when he saved Akane's life, it will be easier for him to have access to that knowledge in his subconscious. He only needs a little stimulus, like practicing or reading a book. "I see, you are an amazing boy," Akane praised Naruto, who blushed at the praise since he was not used to receiving praise. Once again they departed in different ways when they arrived at the end of the training field and headed towards their own homes. But this time Akane had something else planned. "Hinata, Hanabi, could you please go inside and return these books to the clan library? I have another place that I would like to go to," Akane asked her daughters. "Yes, but where are you going, mother?" asked Hinata. "I just want to meet an old friend. Don't worry, I will be back before dinner time," Akane assured her daughters. With that said, she leaves with Naomi next to her. Soon they were in front of the Hokage Tower. "Are you sure about this, my lady?" Naomi asked. "Yes, this is something that needs to be done," Akane replied. A few moments later they were in front of the Hokage office when the secretary recognized the wife of the Hyuga clan head. She went inside the office. A moment later she came back. "The Hokage will see you now," the secretary informed them. "Thank you, Naomi, you wait here," Akane said, and she didn't wait for a reply before going in. "Akane, it is great to see you in good health. I was concerned about the state of your health. But it is good to see that you have overcome your condition," Hiruzen said, happy to see her. "I appreciate your words, Sarutobi-sama," Akane replied. "But something tells me that this is more than a social visit," Hiruzen said, curious about what she wanted to talk about. "You are correct. In fact, I want to talk about the person that saved my life," Akane replied. "Really? If someone has the talent to help you when the best doctors in the village couldn't do it, then he must be talented. So do you want to recommend him to be a doctor in the hospital?" Hiruzen asked her. "Actually no, at least not yet. I want to talk about Naruto," Akane answered. Sarutobi's face grew serious when he heard the name of the boy. But he knew there must be a history behind why Akane wanted to talk about him. What about him? Asked Hiruzen. So Akane began to tell him the whole story, about how she feared her last days had come. How she wanted to meet Hinata's new friend before she died, what Naomi and her daughters told her of what happened when Naruto cured her. She ended the story by telling him how Naruto and her daughters have been training together. Golden chakra? Asked Sarutobi with concern. Was it the Nine Tails chakra? According to the people who were around me when it happened, they told me that they didn't feel any malicious intent, and I have not experienced any side effects from that experience, Akane replied. But what could be the cause of this power? Hiruzen asked about the boy. It could have come from his mother's clan, Akane suggested. Akane, you know that he is an orphan. Any record about his parents was lost when the Nine Tails attacked. Hiruzen tried shutting down the topic. And you should know that as a former classmate of both Kushina and Minato, and as a longtime friend, I can recognize their son just by looking at him, Akane told him. Sarutobi remained silent for a moment, but then continued. You know that you can't tell anybody about that, don't you? Hiruzen asked her. And I haven't said anything, but it won't be long before the people that do not know will put two and two together and make the connection themselves, Akane replied, answering the Hokage. What do you mean? Hiruzen asked. Please, Naruto looks just like Minato, and he is even more intelligent than he was at his age. As he grows older, the resemblance will only be more evident, and him being a genius, the people will realize that he must be related to him. Akane explained. I agree that he looks like Minato, but I am afraid that you may be mistaken about his talent. I had been monitoring his grades in the academy, and I am afraid that they are not that great. Hiruzen rebutted.